all these sort of, there's a lot that we've touched on in the hour. So I just want to check in. Where are we at? What are you thinking? What have you learned? What are you going to take away from this at this point?
One thing I want to go back to is the positive person in the room. I remember there was a meeting that David and I had up at University of Maryland. I was a student at the time. And we were meeting with someone that we knew did really great work as a methodologist, as a statistician. And we went in and we had a lot of conversations about things we might be able to collaborate on and things that we could do. And his response every time was, we can do that. We can do that. And literally, oh, well, what do you think about, we can do that.
Yep.
And it was so much better than asking a question and the response being like, well, you know, that might be tough. I don't think we have the right people to do that. Or, you know, what if we did it this way? It was complete openness to an idea or a thought, right? So thinking about students in the room, or when I was a student, is that having a faculty member that you sit down and you share an idea, and you don't give them back all the reasons why you shouldn't or couldn't do that, but you're like, yeah, we can do that. And so that's, for me right now, is the team, but then also the positivity in the room, I think, is a big thing that's resonating with me right now.
That's great. Anybody else want to check in?
I appreciate you bringing up the why behind the what. Because right now, being a fourth year doctoral student who's entering into the dissertation phase, like at this point, you're like exhausted.
Yes, sure.
And trying to design a study, and it's an iterative process, getting that feedback, and it's just exhausting. And remembering my why just sitting here, it is reminded me of my purpose of why I even came to UNCG in the first place, and how what I started out studying in the beginning, and it was also around cancer with my grandfather, and I was supposed to open up my interest a little bit. So that's how I came into chronic conditions around rural African American families in the first place. But the passion behind it, the drive behind it, the emotional piece behind it, that the whole passion part, it just sparked something here today. So it's a renewal for me, just sitting here and listening. So it's going to help with when I'm sitting here frustrated about what I'm trying to do, thinking through everything, remembering that why is my help.
The why is really important.
I'm just gonna say that, and I know some people are gonna just be like, yep. But you get so beat down in this business. I mean, you just do. When you do a lot of grant writing, and you're writing every cycle, or every other cycle, or multiple times in a cycle, it's hard. It's hard work, and it's a lot of, and then you get the scores back, and you're like, oh man, come on, you need your tribe. The tribe is so important, and if you don't have people to lift you up in those times and remind you why you do this stuff, you will not win. You won't stay in it. You just won't. I mean, that's the bottom line. You've got to build people around you, and Jess and I were just saying, like, how many times, I pick up the phone and she's like, take a breath.
On a Sunday morning, on a
Sunday,
Friday night at 11
exactly.
o'clock, on a, whatever.
Yep, and emailing back and forth, and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're both like, why aren't we sleeping? Everyone else is sleeping, why aren't we sleeping? You need those people, and I think it's so important for the students to hear this, because I think a lot of times we send the message that you have to go it alone, and the bottom line is that the only thing you're ever going to do in your career alone is your dissertation, and really you don't even do that alone. You do that with your faculty, committee and whatever, but I mean, it's probably the one time in your life where you're expected to do most of the stuff alone, but after you leave, you can't do it alone, so you have to kind of make that shift, and hearing that I think is really important, to keep building your tribe around you, people who are going to
I didn't even do my dissertation alone. I mean, I had faculty, but I was telling the story yesterday that in order to do I did a randomized clinical trial, which is what we're here to talk about. I did a randomized clinical trial and I had 2 interventions. I couldn't teach both the interventions. So I went to my tribe and I got 2 other graduate students who were in the program with me at the time to help teach my interventions. So Karen Murphy actually taught 3 months. This was not a little bit of time. 3 months, 3 days a week. She taught my psychosocial support group and led my psychosocial support group for the cancer patients. And then Dave Lang, who was also here at the time with me, I taught the Tai Chi, but I couldn't do it all on my own, and I wanted someone as a stand-in instructor in case something happened and I got sick over the course of 3 months, so we didn't have to like miss a class. So I went to them. We were good friends. We were in the same program, and I said to them, look, I can't pay you anything. I don't have any money to pay you anything to do this, but you're going to want publications. And if you do this with me, I promise to help you on your thesis or dissertation, and you will be on the article. So they said yes, and they did that in good faith. So I started building my teams and developing that skill right now when I was a student. And do that for each other with your dissertations, even, right, as a grad student or master's thesis, whatever. Anybody else?
I want to just reemphasize the point of the why and why you do research. And a good exercise that helped me understand that as well is to ask your participants why they participate in your research. After the exercise trial I did in Calgary in breast cancer survivors, we did semi-structured interviews, kind of a closing point. First question we asked them is, why did you participate in this trial? And by far, the most common response was, I wanted to pay it forward. I wanted to give back to the medical system that helped me through my cancer journey. I want to help future breast cancer survivors with this research. We didn't pay them. It wasn't payment. It had nothing to do with the exercise intervention, getting an exercise prescription. They wanted to participate in research to give back. And so that to me was excellent exercise to know that they're participating in research, giving their time so they can give back. That's why I want to do this. I want to give back to them as well.
Yes, thanks.
Right? So I would encourage everyone to do that as well, right? When you run a study, ask your research participants why they want to do this, why they're spending time in the lab with you to participate in this research.
That's an excellent idea. Anybody else? All right, I do have a question. Should we take like a 10-minute potty break? Or break and go outside if you have to go to the bathroom? So what I would like you to do when you come back from break, and this doesn't have to look beautiful, okay? You can organize it however you want. But I would like you to get, let's see, we did 12, did we do 12 copies? Let me see, hang on.
We got 32.
32? So, okay, I need you to organize yourself into 8 groups of 3 and 2 groups of 4. And you can move the desks and make like little round groups. And here's the thing I want you to do. Please be at a table where you have mixtures of people from different departments who are not in the same department as you, as much as possible. And you cannot be near anybody you're sitting near right now. Okay? You can't be
All
at a
these
table with the
rules.
people on either side of you. You gotta break it up. Right? So, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want you to be able to get around